Coming up next on Creepypasta, we have the story titled The Phone That Rang After Death, written by J.R.G. Let's begin. The story starts off with Ethan Stone, standing underneath a gray sky as the priest recited the final words of the ceremony. His mother, Margaret Stone, had passed away in her sleep at the age of 67. Peacefully, they said. Peaceful wasn't the word Ethan would use. She had called him just 2 nights before, sobbing uncontrollably. Something about the man in the walls and the phone that wouldn't stop ringing. He dismissed it as dementia or grief-induced confusion. Her husband, Ethan's father, had died 2 months earlier. Now, both were gone. After the funeral, Ethan and his wife, Claire, returned to the family home to sort through his mother's things. It was quiet. Too quiet. "Do you hear that?" Claire asked, pausing in the hallway. Ethan listened. Buzz, buzz. A faint vibration. A phone. He followed the sound to the kitchen. Inside a drawer, buried beneath old receipts and batteries, was his mother's cell phone. It was on, and it was calling someone. Calling Ethan Stone. His phone buzzed in his pocket at the same time. He froze. Claire stared. "But she's dead," he answered, static. Then, his mother's voice, whispering, "I'm not alone here." Our next segment is titled Messages from the Dead. Ethan replayed the voicemail for Claire later that night. It was distorted, warped, but undeniably her voice. "I was buried, but I'm not at rest. He's still here." Claire urged him to call the phone company. "It's probably a prank. Maybe her number was spoofed." But Ethan knew her voice. He knew her sobs. The next day the calls continued. Each one came from his mother's number, always in the middle of the night, always with a new cryptic message. "The attic. Don't let him out. Your father made a deal. I didn't know. He watches from the mirrors." Ethan stopped sleeping. He pulled out her phone and checked the call history. Every single call was logged. No outgoing calls since her death, except the ones to him. No battery should have lasted this long, but the phone stayed powered and cold, freezing to the touch. Our next segment is titled Secrets in the Attic. By the 3rd night, Ethan had enough. He climbed to the attic with a flashlight. Dust coated everything. Old furniture, boxes of books, childhood toys, and something else. A locked wooden chest hidden under a blanket. He pried it open. Inside were dozens of cassette tapes, all labeled with dates. The earliest from the 1980s. The most recent, last month. He found an old tape player and pressed play. A voice, his father's, began speaking. "I met him in the mirror. He gave me everything. Money, health, but the price." The voice trembled. "Margaret doesn't know. She can't know. I trapped him in the phone. He can only speak when called. If he gets out, he'll take another." Ethan's blood ran cold. Our next segment is titled The Man in the Phone. That night, the phone rang again. 1:11 a.m. Ethan answered, hands shaking. "Hello?" At first, silence. Then, his father's voice. "Son, he knows you've been listening." Ethan's knees weakened. "I didn't want this for you," the voice said. "He wants a vessel. Someone new. I trapped him in the phone for a time, but he's been waiting." The line went dead. A moment later, the house lights flickered. Claire screamed from downstairs. Ethan ran down to find the kitchen mirror shattered. Shards of glass lay everywhere. Claire held a broom, trembling. "He was in it," she whispered, smiling. Our next segment is titled The Phone Calls Spread. It wasn't just Ethan anymore. His sister Monica called the next day. "Mom's been calling me too," she whispered. "She knew things no one should know. Said Dad did something. Said we need to destroy the phone." But Ethan couldn't. Whenever he tried to leave the phone somewhere else, it came back in his jacket, his car, even once under his pillow. It wouldn't let go. More tapes in the attic revealed the full story. In 1985, his father had performed a ritual, a pact with a spirit bound to sound. It could only speak through frequencies, phone lines, radios, recordings. In exchange for its silence, it demanded constant connection. It had lived in the phones ever since. Our next segment is titled The Burned Tape. One final tape, labeled Do Not Play, was hidden under the others. Ethan played it anyway. It was his mother, weeping. "I found the truth. I heard the voice. He offered me a deal, to live again, to see my children. But I said no." Then her voice turned panicked. "Ethan, if you hear this, don't answer again. Every time you pick up, he moves closer. I felt him pulling me." The tape ended in screaming. And then his phone rang again. But this time, it didn't show a number. Only unknown caller. Our next segment is titled The Final Call. Ethan didn't answer. Instead, he smashed the phone on the ground. But when Claire walked into the room, her phone buzzed. Same number. She answered before he could stop her. Her eyes went wide. "Mom." Ethan watched, horrified, as Claire's expression changed. She nodded slowly, and then she smiled. But it wasn't her smile. Her eyes darkened. She raised her head and said, in a voice not her own, "Finally, a new voice." Then she collapsed. Our next segment is titled Aftermath. Claire woke in the hospital the next day, with no memory of the call. But something was wrong. She began sleepwalking, speaking in voices not her own, repeating words Ethan heard on the tapes. The phone, gone, vanished. Monica stopped answering Ethan's calls. When he drove to her house, he found her voicemail full, and his mother's voice answering back. Something had escaped the phone, and it was spreading. Our next segment is titled Present-Day Ethan Lives Alone Now. No phones, no mirrors. He speaks to no one. But every night at exactly 1:11 a.m., the silence is broken by the faintest sound. Buzz, buzz. It comes from inside the walls, or under the floorboards, or from somewhere deeper. And sometimes, if he listens closely, he can hear the whisper, "I'm still calling you." And that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this episode and want to support the channel, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. This is my channel, and as always, we'll see you next time.